Two things in this speech worked very well tonight. One, the recounting of his days in that prison. I don't think he's ever done it in quite so much detail before a large public audience, and it was moving, and it helped set up very nicely the character point that Alex was making a few moments ago. People do vote to a significant degree upon the character of the candidates, and here he was able to really underscore the argument, first I was a warrior overseas, now I'm going to be your warrior in Washington. And I thought that worked for him. Secondly, I thought that he dropped the personal rancor from the speech. His differences with Obama are deep, but he didn't make them personal. And I thought that really worked well for him. It made him seem more the man of honor and the kind of candidate we thought. I wish he had been able to remove some of the personal rancor from the last two nights of the convention. It raises questions whether he really can control his party. And what did not work for him, I thought, and this may go a little contrary to what you all thought in the hall, I did not think that the substantive part of the speech worked very well. It was mostly a rerun, a retread of a lot of old Republican ideas that have brought us to where we are now. I think the country is looking for fresh answers. It's hard to separate yourself out from President Bush when you essentially have the same economic policies as President Bush. And I thought that the policy presentation was a little thin. His heart was in the retelling of his story, his convictions, and in dealing with international threats, not in the economic.
Carl Bernstein, to David Gergen's point, I mean, he makes a very valid point. A lot of this was sort of back to the future. I mean, there wasn't much talk about the 21st century looking forward, dealing with the new world as we now face it with a resurgent China and other resurgent countries. Is that a mistake? Were they looking back too much?
A lot of it's been tonight was very gauzy and unspecific, and until McCain's speech, this convention has been nasty because there have been two you can't put these two concepts together here, the life and record of John McCain until this campaign and what we've seen at his convention in Minneapolis. They just don't fit the crowd, the message until tonight, which was a kind of mud fest and of partisanship, and then John McCain getting up tonight and saying, oh, wait a minute, we've got to reach out and be nonpartisan. Same with picking Sarah Palin as his running mate. He could have had Joe Lieberman, he could have reached across, he could have had Tom Ridge. Those were his two first picks who he really agrees with on the issues, and instead he went for this partisan rancor. Giuliani's speech, Lindsey Graham's speech. John McCain has run this convention and got the convention he wanted. It may have positioned him better in the election itself, but it is a very different thing than this reaching out maverick that he has defined himself as over the years. There's some difference between these two aspects of himself that somehow haven't come together in this convention.